you. You expect a woman to guard her chastity. She's showing evidence of promiscuousness. She's showing evidence of necessary distrust of her. The man does not have good reason to trust his wife. Allah says, Walati takhafuna nushuzahunna, the one in whom you fear cruelty, arrogance, disobedience. Take 3 steps. If you fear that your wife is showing disobedience, that means she is failing to be a salihah. It means you must take 2 steps. 1, fa'izuhunna, discuss with her, communicate. Fajruhunna fil madaji, if talk fails, then leave her bed. Stop conjugal relationship. And if this protest also fails, fadribuhunna, beat them. Number 3, when atanakum, if you take these 3 steps and they come back to obedience, they cooperate, crisis ended. Everybody calms down. Don't look for trouble. Don't look for any excuse against them. Don't decide to oppress them. Don't punish them for past mistakes. Because if you take the right step, communication should solve the problem. If you're a good man in bed, sex strike will solve the problem. If you show violence, violence will give her option, whether she wants to continue in an abusive marriage or she wants to go. So Allah says, don't look for their trouble. Why? Because Inna Allah kana aliyan kabira. Allah is exalted, is great. Allah is bigger than you. This is between husband and wife. The next ayah, the community, the leaders of the community, the imam. What is the responsibility of the imam? The imam notices that Malam starts coming late for Fajr. The imam looks at the faces of the Ma'mum. He finds that a particular man is not happy. Isahu Watadilu is not meant to be a ritual. It is meant as an opportunity to review the roles, to look at the faces of the Ma'mum. The imam notices somebody is not happy. Or somebody comes to the imam to report. The wife reports. A neighbor reports. Some people fought yesterday. When you notice or you fear dissension between them, you fear that this marriage may break. This marriage is heading towards a rock. There is serious crisis in this marriage. Take 2 steps. Fab'athu akaman min alihi wa akaman min aliya. Appoint an arbiter from his side, an arbiter from her side. A wise man from the family of the man, a wise man from the family of the woman, not the whole family. Don't mobilize everybody against your wife. The imam would take a wise man from the family of the husband, a wise man from the family of the wife. Second step, in yurida Islah, Allah did not say, when you bring them together, let them state their case. And then pass judgment. Blame everybody. The second step is ask them whether they want reconciliation, because reconciliation, conflict resolution should end between the two of them. If the three steps that Allah asks them to take fails, if these fail to reconcile them, then the Imam will ask, do you want to continue in this marriage? If they say yes, yuwafiqillahu bainahuma, Allah will reconcile them. So what scholars say we should do in this case is to pray. You talk to the husband separately, talk to the wife separately, and each doesn't seem to want divorce. You pray to Allah to reconcile them. So inna Allah kana aliman khabira. Allah is all-knowing, all-aware. Allah knows whatever is the cause of this crisis. How does Shaitan come in? The divine rules are 6. 1, the man is the provider for the woman. 2, the man is the spender, is the financially responsible partner. Allah did not talk about sharing financial responsibility. The man is the teacher. The education of the woman is squarely in the hands of the man. If you join me Saturday evening, I'm starting a big topic, epistemicide, where a particular system of knowledge has been killed and replaced by an inferior system of knowledge. Schooling is not the right system of knowledge, but we did not only replace the right lifelong made that success. The piece of paper we get from school was job. The cost of study in the schools are now means of you must be more successful. If you are an engineer, you must be more successful, more prestigious than a teacher. Now, Shaitan gave us this. A woman went to school, her parents spent money on her, she graduated. One man just came one day and decided to pick her as a wife. No parent will say, go and put her in your house. Feed her, clothe her, educate. If they say all this, then we add, my daughter, they will say this indirectly because very good. We have spent money on her. She must pay dividend. She must support siblings. She must support her parents. And no family of the other person will say, we must accept your daughter. She must not work. And our son will take care of her, take care of her children, take care of you, and take care of our siblings. No family will accept this? What's in a social system that the third party in marriages that dismantle marriages, that Shaitan uses? No family will willingly say the woman should go and start trading. She should start business, especially if she is a professional. When the husband says, you, a professional, leave job, how much are they paying you? Start business. The families will not agree. Even where the woman will agree, where is the means of doing this? Even where there is the means of doing it, where is the enabling environment? It is cheaper, it is easier to get it. Certificate, get a job with it. Business is not sure, it is not guaranteed. And this is disproportionate growing. The growth here, where the woman now, out of doing business, becomes richer than the man. The pressure, the tension, the conflict is less than where they both earn salaries and the woman becomes richer than the man. The gira, the ego of the man, no matter how pious, he may live in denial. There is no envious trust in the wife. If the wife comes late, there is no problem. He's not thinking that another man is seeing his wife. He's not suspecting that the wife and always tired. Intimacy will be affected. Once intimacy is affected, permanent anger on both sides set in. They are not developing proportionally, emotionally. They may be making money. Level 8 plus level 8 is not always level 16. It is always level 6. Yes, 8 plus 8 is always 6 in most marriages. An average woman will not spend her money for her husband and her husband's family. An average person will not like it, even if the woman wants to do it. An average man is wired to show his superiority by taking care of his wife, his children, and the family of his wife. This is what makes him a man. This is what makes him the leader. Where the man has been destroyed psychologically to enjoy the wife's wealth and rationalize that this is what we are for each other. You alter the divine will. Allah did not say that. The prophet did not say that. If I'm wrong, I need to be educated. What we say is that, yes, this is what Allah says, but in reality, it's not possible. You are saying Allah should get out. Allah should get out of your life. Allah will get out. Then you'll be faced with the natural consequences. The man is not happy. He's not enjoying intimacy. The wife is trying to make it to the top. The job, our job is a third party. Even where they are professionals, understandably, medics, doctors, and nurses, the most tolerably Islamic jobs. But where they are doing these jobs, in a government hospital and they're earning salary, it is still going to generate trouble. Where the husband of a medical doctor or nurse understands that his wife is doing an act of ibadah through her job, saving life, he must understand that when the crisis that are natural consequences of a woman being made to slave outside her home, being made to do slave job instead of business, where the wife does not have her own clinic, where she will employ others, where the husbands of the female employee will understand the man must accommodate. He must manage his anger. He must understand that his sabru is an act of ibadah for which Allah will reward him. But if he must fire, he must get angry, he must protest, he must react, he must fight, because he himself sometimes, due to work, which is a third party for him too, is always coming home tired. Or he has to travel a lot, he's not always around, he's an absentee husband. The anger of not enjoying libido will be manipulated by Shaitan to cause trouble. Where the man is not in good conscience, abiding by this divine will, Shaitan will not make them grow. They will not understand it, that this is the simple reason we have problems. And they will not want to understand. They want to compare themselves with others. And that is a complication. You know, when virus enters your system and you have complication, you know you are in trouble. The job third party in marriage is a virus. If it is not treated by understanding it that it is anomalous, you must be able to spend and teach and guide and counsel your wife. Your wife wants you to listen to her. She's not saying that she's making sense, but she wants you to listen and agree that every nonsense she's saying is all right. If you are not available, she will look for somebody else to talk to. When this happens, trust is wounded in your marriage. And when your wife has colleagues at work to talk to, and these colleagues are not the appointed quorum for her, you have violated the divine rule. So you're not growing intellectually to be a quorum. You're not growing psychologically to be a quorum. You're not growing economically to spend, to be a quorum. Then you want to resort to spiritualism. You want to think that your wife is possessed. So you want to grow exponentially in the spirit. That is treating cough as malaria. You cannot administer anti-malaria to ordinary cough. The patient will die. This is one of the reasons our marriages are problems. And the disobedience of the woman is a response to your irresponsibility. Whether you are not providing and she's suffering, or she is the provider and you are enjoying it, whether you appreciate it or not, something inside her will make her rebel one day. If for any reason you are not making her happy by satisfactory intimacy, you won't find her as salihah. if you don't know how to talk, we complicate the matter. You call your wife and say, I want to warn you. I've been observing that you are becoming cantankerous these days. A good woman must be obedient. A good woman must submit to her husband. If you are not going to be submissive, I know what to do. You have just brought out a matches box and you have set fire into your house. Now you are not pouring petrol to quench the fire. What are you going to do? You're going to raise your house. So Faizu is not doing wazi to him, to her rather. He's not warning her. This is unfortunately how this ayah has been, this part of the ayah has been misinterpreted. It is communication. Darling, what have I done? A woman is a partner who wants you to apologize for the offense she committed against you. But when you think that you want to make your wife understand that she is offending you, you are getting it wrong. It won't work. Kole work. Kole work. So, you can't apply this because most men are absentee husbands and most men are bad in bed. So this cannot work. Sometimes it is this that you are not doing that is the cause of the problem. How can you now complicate the problem by staying away from a bed? At any rate, a man that does not know how to talk cannot move to the next stage. We must learn how to communicate. Violence is the last resort to indicate that this marriage is gone. The day you beat her, the Prophet says there must be no intimacy unless you go back to the first step and talk it over. And how can you beat a woman and then talk? It won't be that day. A third party must be involved before you can. Once you beat your wife, the third party must be involved before you can reconcile. That's why the next ayah says, when you notice that there's problem, bring two families together and ask them, you have reached this stage, are you going to reconcile? Do you want reconciliation? But when we are not following these divine rules, you know, 4 up there, 2, the next ayah, when the imam does not involve the family. And like I said, I am guilty of this. And he thinks he can just talk sense into the couple's head. Is a temporary solution. You are just massaging somebody's ego. What a man wants is that the man should talk sense into his wife. What the woman wants is that the man should talk sense into her husband. What Allah wants is that the family should be present while you ask in their presence whether they want reconciliation. If the wife says she wants reconciliation, we must reconcile. If the wife says she doesn't want reconciliation, even if the husband begs, there must be no reconciliation. Because the marriage belongs to the wife. Crisis resolution is in the hands of the wife. Sulhu is in the hands of the wife. When Sauda noticed that the Prophet was staying away from her, she gave her right to Aisha rather than the option of divorce. So these are the issues. We have just about 17 minutes. We want to stop here. If there are issues you want to trash, we will continue next week. Inshallah ta'ala. Once you violate this rule, there is conflict. Instead of talking, instead of farming yourself up intimately, instead of taking necessary steps, you involve a third party, you will never have peace. You involve the third party when the marriage is on its verge of collapse. After talk failed, conjugal strike fails, beating happens. Once beating happens, third party must be involved. And the talk is, do you want the marriage to continue? How many religious leaders follow this procedure? I rest my case.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan, sir. So, fathers and mothers in the house, it is time for us to interact with the lecturer and the lecture and to interact with ourselves. So, comments, contributions, questions, clarifications, information. So, let us raise our digital hands to indicate. Brother Abdurazak Adedayo Abioye. So, you
Chairman, our newly Tiaroba chairman. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Mute ni alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Jazakallah for the beautiful opportunity we have tonight. Sir, I always find it difficult to relate. Maybe we are very special. That unlike before, the role of mentors cannot be overemphasized in marriage. And you see that today, these tonics are lacking. So when you engage in some fracas among couples, you discover that what they are discovering is frivolities. There are things you cannot fathom that can this happen, can this one cause problem? And I believe that it's just because maybe before or after, there's nobody who is overseeing that project called Nikah. Because immediately after the ceremony, it remains the husband and wife who are inexperienced in the course of life building a family. And building a family is serious business in Islam. But today, honestly, sir, you discover that every couples are just wobbling and fumbling. They pretend to be spiritual, but what, like you have just told us now, the reality on ground is beyond spiritualism. It's beyond somebody, a coach, somebody who has got it all. I want to remind you, sir, the day we came to you and have an incident, you now call, I've come. How many times have we dissolved this marriage? And we're looking at if this old man and woman are saying, so, but to us, it's a big deal. Saying that we want to work out. Everybody wants to work out these days because when they find that they think they're not compatible because nobody is there to mediate between them. Because that's why you see the rate of divorce coming. So, sir, the role of mentors. Some of us have been on this platform for a long time. How many of us have raised ourselves to take the young one along this journey and make them successful in their marriage? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Yes, the imams are supposed to be mentors. Some imams are supposed to also be mentored. That is why we created a contrast subculture, not just so that our front will be different from the common societies, but so that it will provide the missing link in the general ummah. What we expect the imam to do and is not doing, we do in our front. Unfortunately, we are losing our children. This week, last week, 2 of our children were returned home by their Salafi husbands. Very, very painful. One with a child, the other one with 3 children. Their Salafi husbands returned them home. Why? Because our daughters prefer Salafi training. They were made to hate us, to not see any good in what we're doing. And we are still counting. May Allah stop it. They cannot marry one another because they are not meeting. They are not doing what we're doing. So where will they meet one another to marry one another? If they do MSS, it's a disaster. If they do NOSFAT or others, I have no comment. But if they think they want to do more than us, because they understand Islam more than we do, it is because there is no mentor for them. We are not mentoring our children. And so our children go out to seek people they think are more spiritually developed than them. And they use criteria of costume. You know, one of these girls uses niqab. And she's back home because she discovered that the Salafi brother is on drugs, is committing zina, is violent, he tells lies, and I've forgotten the 5 pillars of Salafism. These are the common allegations against them. They tell lies, they commit zina, they beat their wives, they are very violent, they're not good at all, and they're on drugs. Even when they say they are doing, what do they say, ruqya, they are doing prophetic medicine. Many of them use drugs and they are victims. They are always demonically possessed, perhaps due to drug addiction. We are not doing the mentoring. Our children do not see mentors in us. I don't know the details. I only observed that those of us that are affected are unfortunately leaders of the Dawah, you know, and this is where we are. This is where we are. It could have been a mistake that is now too late to correct, thinking that we have trained our children well, but we didn't know the reason they opted for Salafi brothers in the first instance. Well, we are just knowing this. Still, I still believe that we should take responsibility. We are just knowing that the reason they took Salafi brothers as option is because they think we are not developing spiritually, intellectually enough. They think they develop better. They don't understand this concept that no growth should be in exclusion of another. And you should not think that there is only a particular way of growing. If you think spiritual growth means all this costume, then you find that ignorance is the name. Wallahu alam. Don't let me get angry.
Jazakallah Razak. Don't get angry.
Global Amira.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam to your mommy.
I want to appreciate our
Don't
Prof.
slap
Son again.
policeman. Oh.
Kí lẹ sọ?
Don't slap a policeman. Oh.
It's not me, it's your rec that posted it somewhere. So I copied. It's your rec. I want to thank you again. I pray Almighty Allah will continue to keep you in goodness for us for a very long time. And what you are giving us will continue to be beneficial and rewarding to everyone. Each time you talk about when it comes to marriages, I just wonder because there are a lot of problems, especially with this generation. Because somebody was making a pointer that in the olden days, there were no counseling, but the marriages were lasting long. But these days that we have a lot of counselors, we have a lot of marriages breaking down. In fact, before you say Jack, the marriage has broken down. So what could be responsible? Some of those things you have said, but I think there are more to it than meets the eye. Is it that our girls are, because of what the experience they've had with their own parents, they don't want to go through that route with their partners? Or is it that our men, our boys are not getting adequate training and adequate mentorship, especially their fathers being good examples? That is one. Secondly, is the issue that you mentioned that marriages belong to women. That if a marriage is about to break down and they ask them that, okay, do you want reconciliation? And the woman says yes, that there should be reconciliation. But I've discovered that a lot of our fathers tell us that according to the Sharia, once the man says, I want to divorce, the woman cannot contest it. It has to go on like that. So I'm a bit confused. If the man says, I want to divorce, the woman says no, according to what you have said, then they should reconcile. But according to the Sharia, or they said, according to the Sharia, it is the other way around. So all these issues, the third thing I want to mention is that, yes, you have mentioned Dawah Front, but Dawah Front is just a nucleus of the Muslim, the entire Muslim family. Is there a way that you can midwife the coming together of imams, especially at least those ones, even if we can start with the ones in the Southwest, whereby you let them know, or maybe there should be a refresher course for them to really know how to approach issues between couples. Because it is so rampant now that hardly will you find within a month, will you not hear about a marriage breaking down? And if the trend continues, I don't know what will become of the Muslim family in the next maybe 10, 20, 30 years. I pray Almighty Allah will please touch the hearts of the couples and let them be patient with themselves and let them have peace in their homes. Thank you for your audience. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Grandma. The first question has been answered by you, ma. Sometimes it's because our children do not see example in us. Sometimes it is because we didn't prepare the girl as a wife material. We only prepared her to go to school, to be materially successful, and to be attractive to any boy. When she gets to the husband's house, She doesn't know how to play the politics of being a wife. And her arrogance will send her out. Sometimes it is because all the time, it is because we never felt that the boy should be prepared as a husband material. We don't show him example. We don't talk to him. We don't carry him along. And it takes after his bad father. I'll give an example. An ustaz chew his wife's things out in the presence of his son. The wife was the first wife. He had 3 wives. He was throwing his first wife out in the presence of his matured son. And somebody asked the young man, what do you see to this? Mommy could have been wrong. Can you do this? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He can do it. He didn't know why the mother was treated that way. And he felt that his father was just proving to be a man. That bad attitude is manly attitude. We don't teach our boys how to be human beings. We don't know that they take the bad side of us. So that is that about it. As for the conflict between the Sharia and the Quran, this has been there for more than 100 years. I will give an example. There is nowhere in the Quran where the punishment for blaspheming the prophet is killing. But it's there in the books. So if it is important that if somebody blasphemes the prophet, he should be killed, will Allah forget it? It's part of the consequences of epistemicide. We are going to start the discussion on Saturday, inshallah, after Asri. The mobilization will commence anytime from tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. See, 90% of what they call Islamic issues today are Muslim issues. They are not derived from the Quran. They are making a lion of the man. That if a woman says she wants a marriage, you still go ahead. It is not in the Sharia, but it is in the mouth of scholars. It's an example of the tragedy that has befallen us. And some of us who want to stick to the Quran have problem. There are only 2 reasons why a man will not want reconciliation. Even if the woman wants it, if she commits shirk or she commits zina, if the man can prove that his wife commits shirk or she commits zina, no reconciliation. Otherwise, there is no other offense for which there can be no reconciliation. But when men state their cases, and they state these cases in the presence of another emotional person, and this person will benefit materially from the rascal, he will dig out all sorts of things in the Sharia. Yeah, divorce is in the hands of the man, but khulu is also divorce, and it is in the hand of the woman. Sulah is reconciliation. It is in the hand of the woman. So if it is true that they understand the Sharia, once the woman does not commit shirk, the woman does not commit zina, there can be no divorce. But this is the reality. Violating the divine. I will share it, inshallah. Number 3. Yeah, let me just assure you that we are working on it. We are working on it together in Abuja, and inshallah next year, next Hijra year, inshallah ta'ala, we work on it. We will work on it. Can we close?
Sir, there's comment on the chat box, sir.
There's
No
some
other hand.
comments on the chat
Can
box.
we invite
Chat box,
the?
sir.
There are some comments on the chat box.
Okay. Yeah, inshallah, we are going to share the recording. Inshallah, they have seen it. What's the ruling of a husband telling his wife to take care of herself? Because that Sharia said so. But we have read the Quran. Does the Quran say so? These are some of the nonsense we hear from men. If I walk outside inconveniences in, is it spending enough on her to take care of everything, to stop her from walking outside? If he doesn't have the capacity to take care of the wife enough for her not to walk outside, he must understand that there must be issue with her walking outside. If she cannot provide the means, then she should stop making noise. He should stop making noise. He should be ready for the consequences of his financial incapacitation. Can we do seminar for the Southwest on next Rajab Assembly? Yay! The people who do Rajab's Assembly are here. They are hearing you. And you can make that suggestion on Mission Board platform. Ibrahim, take it to Mission Board platform. Next year, Rajab Assembly can tackle divorce.
Well, Alhamdulillah, so far so good. For those who are asking for the recording, I think this one has been set times without number. We are no longer recording. Everything we discuss here is automatically recorded, and you can go on YouTube and watch all the past episodes plus the present one. So whoever wants to or has missed out anything can go on YouTube, watch the Ta'alim again and again. All the ones that have been done in the recent past are equally there. So if you miss any episode, you can go online and watch. So I think the Imam has been logged out, and it is okay. Imam has been muted. This is 7 minutes behind schedule. We want to appreciate everybody. Professor Norat, let it be next week. Once it is 8:30, we are over. We have done overtime. Tomorrow is a working day, so Allah will preserve our life till next week. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. May Allah heal all the sick Muslims. May Allah forgive all the dead Muslims. May
Amen.
Allah preserve all of us to on righteousness, on
Amen.
iman, taqwa. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت
Allah said, "Was Jubilee, Father of the Kingdom."
سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين